Hello and welcome to yet another Formula 1 related video in which we are gonna predict the rest of the 2025 Formula 1 season. Since it's now the summer break, I think it's the right time to do this. Also, I'm gonna try to base these predictions on the best to worst car. I mean by performance. You're gonna see some changes in performances. Of course, happens in real life. Um, Also, I'm gonna specify when there are wet races. In particular, there are actually gonna be two, and then also when a driver has a particular record at the track or has his home track, I'm gonna try to integrate that into my prediction. Also, I'm only gonna here put only the top 10. I'm not gonna like order the rest of the standings, but I'm gonna try to keep the fact that I'm a Mercedes fan out of this equation. So I'm just gonna try to make it as, let's say, as neutrally as possible. Also, yeah. So let's start this championship calculation on championship calculator. Yeah. So um, let's start with the Dutch Grand Prix. I am gonna say that there's gonna be another double McLaren podium. I'm gonna say that Piastri will win this. Norris will finish third. Now I'm gonna put Verstappen in second. Maybe the Red Bull can do something better there. I don't know. In fourth, it's gonna stay as it was with Russell, but Hamilton I think will be in fifth, ahead of Leclerc in sixth, and I think no, Albon will be ninth, yeah, and but I think no, Gasly is gonna be seventh, ahead of Antonelli, which is still recovering there from that bad run. So that's why I think he won't be directly at the top. And then I think Sainz is gonna take the last point. So, with that in mind, here are the updated standings. Still, the top, only the top 7 can reach the title. Piastri is now started and gained a bit on noise now. The gap is 19 points already. Piastri has more than 100 points to Verstappen. Verstappen distanced himself a bit from Russell, which has distanced himself a bit from Leclerc. And in the constructors only the top 4 teams, we can see that gap from Ferrari to Mercedes go up 26 points. We can see McLaren only needing one more point to get to 600 points. Also in the midfield time battle from 5th to 10th, we can see a profit for Alpine, a bit of a profit for Williams. Then of course, I mean only 1 point for Williams. No, 3 points for Williams, yeah. And then of course the stress seems the same as it was Italian Grand Prix, and I'm still gonna say that Piastri will win this Grand Prix. As it's Italy, I'm gonna put Leclerc in fourth, and gonna say that for a reason, probably an engine failure. Norris does the NF this race. And no, I'm not a Piastri fan. It's just how I predict it's gonna work out. Leclerc in second. I do not think that Hamilton will get his podium, but he'll be close to it. He'll be beaten by Russell. Uh, I think Hülkenberg will have a good drive to beat Antonelli to fifth place, and here again we have the showing of the bad Red Bull cars. First time he finished behind Alonso in which is in seventh place and finished eighth. Portoletta will get points, and I think Lawson will also get points. So yep, this is it. And now Piastri has a pretty big margin there in the drivers. Only the top six drivers now have a chance of winning the championship. Also, only the top three teams as Red Bull is now out of the equation, canceling the constructors. The Ferrari Mercedes gap goes up to 33 points, which is not ideal because I'm a Mercedes fan. Azerbaijan, even his record, and given that he has taken pole in the first last four occasions here, I think Leclerc finally needs a win here. I think Norris will beat Piastri to second place. And I think that Hamilton will be fourth, ahead of Russell and ahead of Antonelli. I think that Stroll is gonna take P7 ahead of Verstappen, with Lawson in ninth and Archer in 10th. Also, it's gonna be the last race, I believe, for Colapinto, and before everyone gets back for the remainder of the season. Just another prediction. Um, yeah. So the gap between Piastri and Norris has come down a bit for 12 points. Now only the top 5 drivers are here. We have Leclerc finally getting Ferrari's first win of the year. They've been waiting for so long, haven't they? Verstappen to Russell to Leclerc gap is only 9 points. Constructors only McLaren and Ferrari. McLaren, I think, can win this in Singapore. And Ferrari's captain Mercedes just keeps largening itself. In the midfield team battle, Aston Martin jumped up, Sauber jumped up because they've jumped up in number of points and places. They've kind of cleared themselves from the rest. With, of course, I'll be taking some points there, but not enough. Singapore is gonna be Lando Norris's first win in the second part of the season. Theoretically, the second part starts with round 13 in Hungary, but usually counting it by the summer break because now the summer break isn't at exactly the half point of the season as it usually was, and now it's or close trying to get close to it's 2 races after. Anyways, you see my point. I think this is gonna be a 1-2 for McLaren. You see here now they're gonna start their championship with 700 points. That's almost double the amount of points that Ferrari has. I'm gonna say that Russell gets a podium, Hamilton gets 4th, Antonelli gets 5th, Verstappen beats Leclerc to 6th, and I'm gonna say Stroll, another good performance for him. I'm gonna say Hülkenberg, and I'm gonna say Archer. So now third place in the drivers goes to Russell. So in top 5 have a chance of getting that title. Yeah, so the gap between Ferrari and Mercedes came down a bit. Now Williams is in danger by both is in danger with both Aston Martin and Albert just there in 10 points behind them now. The US Grand Prix sprint race. I'm gonna say Hamilton wins the sprint race again. I'm gonna put Russell in second and Norris in third, with Verstappen beating Piastri to fourth, and I think that Leclerc is gonna beat Anthony to seventh. No, let's see anomalies to the normal order so far, and I think Gasly is gonna get there. Tsunoda is still not replaced terrible because he's been close to points last few races. Let's just say he's been 11th in Italy, Singapore, and then 9th in his sprint race, and he's been close, but not close enough. Pretty close battle for third again in the drivers. Um, yeah, here Ferrari get. I mean, here they put it as their second win, which kind of interesting because if they count the sprint wins, then they'll have three, not two, because Hamilton only has one in second sprint. And I'm gonna say this is gonna be a ball move in the US. I'm gonna say Piastri wins, but Antonelli gets second, and Hamilton finally gets his first podium of the season in third. I'm gonna say that Russell beats Norris to fourth. I'm gonna say that Hülkenberg has an impressive start to sixth. I'm gonna say that Albon will beat Leclerc, which beats Max 12th, and I'm gonna say that let's say before Tsunoda finally gets points. This means that only the McLaren duo are up for the driver title battle, and Antonelli has now passed 100 points finally. And yeah, let's see the constructors. Again, Ferrari does lead, battle against Mercedes by more than 30 points, but Mercedes are closing up. Now, in the midfield battle, Williams actually Zauber covered 6th place, which is kind of impressive. In the midfield of the drivers is still the battle between Albon and Hülkenberg for 8th. Can Duan get points? He's back in the car. That is called for shadowing. You'll see why. Leclerc gets Ferrari's win. That's a second win of the season without spins in Mexico City, but it's also Mercedes 2-3, so that means that is only the second time this season that McLaren does not get even a podium after Canada. Hülkenberg another impressive threat fourth. I'm gonna say Hamilton. No, actually, is before these two McLaren drivers, of which Norris is ahead. Verstappen is 8th, and then Albon gets 9th, and Gasly is 10th. So that means that Sauber is up into 5th place. And let's see the gap 34 points. It came down a bit because Ferrari did win the race, but Hamilton was kind of further back. Let's see the podium. Again, the championship battle in the drivers is kinda gone a lot in favor of Piastri. I mean, Norris has won in the second part of the season. Piastri has won the Dutch Grand Prix, the Italian Grand Prix, and the US Grand Prix. That's 3. Norris has only won the Singapore Grand Prix. Now, towards the end of the season, as you're gonna see, McLaren are still gonna have the fastest car, but we're starting to see, let's call them anomalies, because they're not that ahead of everyone as they were before, and that's why they've only got stayed at 750 points. I feel like now 763, but you don't understand why. Now the Sao Paulo Grand Prix sprint race is gonna be the first of those two wet races, which I've been talking about. Russell will win this with Leclerc and Norris on the podium. Piastri gets 4th, Verstappen 5th. Another good drive for Hülkenberg, 6th. Nothing Antoine beats Hamilton to 7th. And no, I'm not favoring Hülkenberg. I'm just saying that maybe Zauber has a better car towards the end of the year, and they when Hülkenberg profits out of that is now 8th, clearly 8th in the in the drivers, and Sauber are clearly 5th in the constructors. Let's see, Sao Paulo Grand Prix. This time the race is not wet, and I'm gonna say that Norris wins with Russell in 2nd, and with Verstappen finally getting on the podium the first time since like the Dutch Grand Prix. Antoine gets 4th, Piastri 5th, Leclerc 6th, Hülkenberg 7th. Alonso, if let's say Hamilton had to crash with somebody, is out. Carlos Sainz 9th, and Tsunoda 10th. And that means that between McLaren, not McLaren, Ferrari and Mercedes, we have 10 points. In other news, there's the gap going down to 29 points between Piastri and Norris. And no, I'm not putting Piastri down a few paces just to get Norris back at it. I'm just saying that, no, maybe Norris had a better weekend here. Las Vegas. This is of course the second of those wet races. Though it's not, it usually rains there. Let's call it a weather anomaly. What does it? No, it's kind of seems in the middle of desert. No, I mean, yeah, Las Vegas, a city in the middle of desert, really seems, and yeah, seems kind of weird. But let's say Hamilton wins with Norris in 2nd, Piastri in 3rd, and because it's a wet race, let's say Fernando gets 4th, and let's say Porto gets 5th, Hülkenberg 6th, no 7th. Okay, yeah, let's put Verstappen in 6th, Hülkenberg 7th. Let's say that Mercedes have a torrid weekend and Russell does not score. Anthony gets 6th ahead of Leclerc, and then Ocon gets the last point. Harvard has not got many points this year. That's the first time they've gotten a second part season. Wow. Zauber for 110 points. Wow. So yeah, Hamilton finally gets his first big win. Let's call it not sprint win, big win for Ferrari, and Piastri extends a bit in the drivers. Piastri will win the Qatar sprint race with Antonelli in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd, Norris gets 4th, Leclerc 5th, Russell 6th, and let's say for the first time this season, Duan gets points, and the second Alpine driver gets points, beating Hamilton to 7th. So that will mean that Ferrari still stays there in 2nd, but there's a possibility Piastri could wrap up the title in the race. in the main race. Here we are gonna see Russell win. We are gonna see Hamilton take second, Norris take third, and we're gonna see Leclerc, no, Antonelli and Leclerc beat Piastri. Even though that happens, no, actually, yeah, that no, why? Even that happens, they still are in the championship fights, like 22 points between them, very close. And then I think that Bortoleto gets 7th, Hülkenberg gave Verstappen 10th, Albon, Verstappen 9th, Albon 10th. And yeah, it looks good, let's say. Also a battle between Ferrari and Mercedes. Maybe, we don't think there. And now Abu Dhabi. The second place in the constructors, a midfield battling both the drivers and the constructors, and the driver championship up for grabs. Interesting. And now I'm hoping I can actually see this, but Anthony is gonna win. I'm calling it. Lando will beat Oscar to second, but of course he's too far behind in the driver, so he will lose that battle. Leclerc will get beaten by Russell to for pace with Hamilton in 6th, Verstappen is 7th, Portoleto, Hülkenberg, and let's say Berman also points. Actually, Berman hasn't gotten points since Bahrain, so it would be nice. So let's start with the drivers. Entire battle. Verstappen is on to 5th and actually kind of does nothing. Red Bull space really gets hampered a lot. Tsunoda does not score many points. Berman does not score many points. Yeah, Hülkenberg scored a lot of points, and Bortel does a late season surge. Here we have McLaren win with more than 900 points. Has this actually happened ever? No, I think we got like 700, 800. Yeah, incredible. Ferrari and Mercedes are tied with 518 points. No, I did not just put Mercedes there because I'm a Mercedes fan. I want them to finish second. Of course, I want them, but I just wanted Antonelli to win, you know? Maybe one race. And it turned out like this. I mean, Ferrari do get second place after all. For I don't know what kind of tiebreaker they have, but it seems like because there they will get 4th. Sauber more than 100 points. I think they're gonna have a late season. I mean, no, second part season surge, which they're really good. I think that Williams and Aston Martin will tie for 6th and 7th place. And then RP beats us to 8th, 9th, and Alpine will become the highest team to get last place. Highest scoring team to get last place in the constructors with 30 points. That is it. I think I'll go back to this video at the end of the season and see how many of these predictions I got right. And if, I mean, it is possible that I get at least a win, right? It's also possible that I get a podium right. It is possible that I somehow, by some miracle, get everything right. It's possible I get nothing right. Anyways, Thank you for watching, like and subscribe. Goodbye.